Do you think we will ever get a remake or updated release of Shadow Hearts? You should watch yesterday's stream that I did on Shadow Hearts Covenant. And I said something, I spat the truth in that during the stream. I think it was near the end. The thing about people wanting remasters and remakes and shit is that a lot of them don't give a shit if the translation is altered for the sake of whatever. Nowadays, most of the time is for the sake of left-wing politics, you know? They inserting agendas and woke bullshit and all that jazz, but sometimes a company can alter the translation without any political bias. Working Designs is a good example. They used to alter a lot of translations for no apparent reason. No political bias, no nothing. They just alter because they I don't know, what a bunch of assholes, right? Just to be funny. Just to add some American humor, you know? So, but people, I think apparently people nowadays, a lot of gamers don't really give a shit. And they're begging for remasters and remakes and blah blah blah. And if the remaster or set remaster or remake gets altered, you know, or the localization, the initial translation gets like changed, you know, for the sake of whatever, the wokeness or you name it, they don't seem to care. But the ones that I'm surprised about is are the people who actually do give a shit and criticize all of that, and then they're asking for a remaster. And yesterday, you know, during the Shadow Hearts Covenant stream that I did, there were a couple of politically incorrect jokes that some of the characters said, and I was just saying that this will never fly nowadays. This will have to be removed because it is considered as offensive nowadays, because it offends like the 0.1% of society in the world, you know. So they will have to alter that. So if you're the kind of gamer who doesn't give a fuck about that, you don't care that the game is going to be altered or censored, you know, then okay, go and ask the companies why haven't they remade or remastered Shadow Hearts. But me, as things stand nowadays, I don't want a single JRPG remake or remaster. I want nothing. I used to be that guy, I know that. I made a lot of videos about JRPGs that need a remaster many years ago. You know, I used to be that guy saying, hey, Capcom, bring back Breath of Fire, what the hell is going on? But the gaming industry nowadays, the JRPG industry nowadays, you know, is mostly controlled by this fucking censorship 1984 mentality, you know? And they're like removing or altering or censoring everything that they find offensive, you know? So I fucking hate that, I'm against that, so I don't want a single JRPG in existence to be remastered. Especially because I think emulation has come a long way. And sure, a lot of JRPGs could use some quality of life features in a remaster. But in terms of graphics, they look fucking fantastic in my new laptop. And this laptop, this is a mid-generation, my GeForce RTX NVIDIA whatever card, you know, GPU is like from 3 generations ago. And I can play retro games and they look fucking remastered, you know. So since emulation has come such a long way, just go back and play the originals, you know. They aren't altered, they aren't censored, some of them. Or they were censored many years ago for different things, like Xenosaga censoring the blood for North America, but there's a lot of hacks too. If you're going to emulate certain retro JRPGs or whatever, you know, there's a lot of hacks that remove the bad English dub, or that remove remove the censorship, like Drakengard, like Xenosaga, you know. So there's a lot of options nowadays. What I'm trying to say is that we don't really need any other JRPGs in existence remastered or remade anymore. So now I don't want Shadow Hearts remastered. What's the point? You know, until the JRPG industry calms the fuck down and they realize that the large majority of gamers care nothing for censorship or bad translations and bad actors, you know? Until they realize that, no, I don't want a single JRPG remastered or remade anymore. I don't give a fuck. But there's a lot of people out there who don't really care. It's like, I want this game remastered. hey, but they're gonna change this and that and censor this and that. I don't give a shit, I want it remastered. Okay. And that's why they've been remastering a lot of JRPGs and a lot of games, because people don't give a shit. The average consumer doesn't give a fuck. They will still consume the product, and they will still pay for it, you know, and give money to these companies. The very same companies they often criticize. You know, Square Enix, blah, 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 blah. Oh, but here's the money for the pixel remasters, all of them. It's just Square Enix. I hate Square Enix, you know. Oh, but I'm gonna buy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on day one, you know. So, wow, great. We live in a very nonsensical society nowadays. That's interesting, you know. Someone's here saying that people hate Monster Hunter, but they play God Eater. It's all the same. No, it's not the same. God Eater, for instance, it's like comparing Code Vein to Dark Souls, you know. It's just not the same, you know. They just have similar gameplay mechanics. Or God Eater is influenced by Monster Hunter, but it's not a Monster Hunter clone. Like, sure, you do customize your main character, but the God Eater series is just very different, you know. It's more about the weapons. You don't even level up. You know, you just upgrade your weapons and shit, and then instead of mindlessly going to hunt down monsters, you have a story, a linear story, and you have, like, party members that have character development, you know. And the graphics are, like, vastly different. Monster Hunter is a bit neutral when it comes to graphics. Like, sometimes it looks Western, sometimes it looks Japanese, you know. And whereas God Eater is fully anime and waifus and shit, you know. So, no, it's not the same. I love God Eater, and I don't like Monster Hunter. Now, which series is better? I don't know. Obviously, Monster Hunter is far more successful, right? But, why I prefer God Eater than Monster Hunter? Why I just explain it to you? I mean, no one asked that, but just for the sake of someone who's thinking, or might be thinking about asking, hey, so why do you like God Eater, not Monster Hunter? Well, I just said that, you know, because it's like Code Vein versus Dark Souls, you know. You have a plot. I have a strong narrative, you know. I have character development, party members. I have anime style, which I prefer over Western style. I have waifus. I have fan service, you know, and I have these gameplay mechanics, these little details that make it more appealing to me, you know. I don't know. But to be completely honest, you know, I haven't played that many Monster Hunter games. I just played like 2 or 3, and the regular ones, and I decided that I wasn't a fan, you know, and I was like, nope, not a fan. I played the PSP one, Freedom, and then I played 3 on the Wii, and then I played, was it 4 or Generations on the 3DS? I don't know. That one got me a little bit more interested, but a couple of hours into it, and I got bored, I got lost. I was like, no, it's just not my type of game, you know, not my cup of tea. I have nothing against the Monster Hunter series, you know, I think it's a great series, but not for me. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people seem to think that, oh, but you like their clones. I don't know why people like them, call them clones. They aren't clones, they're just influenced by them, you know. It's just different, they have different things that make them different and make them special and make them stand out above the games that influence them. That's my opinion, that's my take. That's why I like God Eater more than Monster Hunter and Code Vein more than Dark Souls. Yeah, there's a lot of games that are considered as clones when they aren't. They try to be different, you know. Others are straight up rip-offs, you know, like you play them and you're like, this is a fucking rip-off, you know, but it's rare. Usually companies that make a game like Code Vein, for example, influenced by something like Demon Souls, you know, they try to make it very different in a lot of areas, you know, and that's why most of the time they succeed. Because, okay, I wanna develop a game similar to Demon Souls, you know, but with like a story, gothic, vampires, you know, a party member, character development, narrative, maybe tied a little bit to God Eater, I don't know, and with different mechanics in this and that, you know, so they tweak a little bit with different things, you know, and they end up becoming their own games, you know. But as soon as some nowadays influencers and reviewers notice the similarity, or even gamers in general, oh no, that's a Dark Souls clone, anime Dark Souls, and it's like, okay. The game still sold a lot. So yeah, it used to piss me off too, but nowadays I'm like, yeah, whatever. Persona clones, Final Fantasy clones, Chrono Trigger clones, yeah, sure, whatever. If there's one thing in which Valkyria Chronicles 4 is better than 1, is the fan service. It's just... Minerva and Kai are like, holy shit, man. I mean, you can't top this. Come on, man. You can't beat this. It's just no. Good fan service in Valkyria Chronicles 1. But 4 destroys it in fan service. Look at this. Right? What do you think about Dragon Quest 6? It's one of the worst in the series. It's not a bad game though, but I think it's one of the worst. I played it, I never finished it, I put like 10 hours into it and I was done. I was like, nope. Problem with that game is that it doesn't have a very compelling storytelling. It doesn't have either a very compelling gameplay, it has a crap ton of random encounters. Every 2 steps you get a random battle, man. It's so the encounter rate kind of kills it, you know. And then once it's like the old Dragon Quest games, you know, you start a dungeon and there's no way to save the game. So if you complete the entire dungeon with 10 million random encounters and then you get to the boss fight and for some reason you die, you were under-leveled, you fucked up, you made a mistake, it's back to the fucking beginning and do the entire dungeon again. So if a game is gonna put me through that again, you know, at least make the story super great or the game super addicting or something, you know, but it's just turned me off. I don't think it's a bad game, you know, and a lot of old Dragon Quest games do that to you. 8 is no exception. There's no save points in the dungeon, but it has an interesting mechanic that you travel between certain dimensions, which makes it appealing. That's what got me into it, you know, because I should have quit 2 hours into the game, to be honest, but I made it to 10 hours or 8 or 7, I don't even remember, because of that feature, because I found it interesting that you go around, you know, and you travel between dimensions and there's portals, but eventually it becomes too overwhelming. It's not like in Chrono Trigger where you can only travel to certain places or Chrono Cross between 2 dimensions. No, there's like several of them in Dragon Quest 6 and there's portals, and then like you read a guide and it's like you gotta find this portal here, and then you go and I can't see it. Oh, it's to the left. Oh, no, it's to the right. No, it's north, and then you find it and then you're lost again. So you get lost over and over and over again. Pretty similar to Shin Megami Tensei 4. But I still insist it's not a bad game, but it's not a great game either. It's like, play it, try it out yourself, and maybe you'll like it. The characters are also like interesting, but not that much. It's just they don't get the best development. There's not a lot of conversation. Like Dragon Quest 7 is the same, you know. There's not a lot of development between the characters. But I think 7 has like more memorable characters, and 6 is like, I don't even remember their names. There's a blondie girl that I really liked, you know, but I don't even remember her name. It's just, I mean, I'm not saying it has forgettable characters, though. It just has, I don't know. It's not a great game. Let's leave it at that. Hey, by the way, people, there's an update to my blog. Let me link you to my blog. It's in the link to it is in the description. But let me link you right now in the chat. I will put the link in the chat to my RPG scores section. I have added several links to my reviews. There you go. Check it out. And now a lot of the RPGs that I've scored and ranked in that blog have links to the reviews. So you just click on the game. It's a blue color. Every single game that you see under the blue color or in blue color, you know, you can click on it and it will lead you to my review here on YouTube. Just in case you want more than just a number, you know. I mean, you see like, why does this game have 8.6? Why? There's no explanation. Well, maybe that game now has a review. You click on it and then you'll see why it has 8.6. Okay. Chrono Cross has a review. Grow Lancer 5, Fire Emblem, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Trails into Reverie. You know, there's a lot of blue-colored games here. It's only like maybe 40 or 50, you know, but there's a Last Remnant review. Dragon Quest Source, East Strategy, Resonance of Fate, The Legend of Legacy, Cry Machina. I have a review of Dark Souls. Believe it or not, I have a review of Dark Souls. I think it's just me talking in front of a camera, you know, but it is a review. You know, yeah, so all of those links are there in my blog now. And I will continue to add more in the future, so be sure to check regularly. Okay? I remember Ryan says, I beat the last boss of Secret of Mana with a 14 damage hit from Tina. You know, you're not gonna beat my story. I beat for the first time I played Suikoden 2, everybody was dead, the final boss, everybody was dead except for one guy. And he had like 5 HP. He was about to die. And I was like, I'll just do a regular attack. I'm dead anyway. And I beat the final boss. I'll never forget that. I wasn't a YouTuber then, but I should have recorded that. That would have been great to show. One character about to die. That was it. I was like, I'm dead. Oh, it's just fucking attack. That's it. Whatever. I'm gonna have to grind. And no, that one hit killed the final boss, and I beat it. That was my experience with Suikoden 2. Great. I'll never forget that.